special guest Deepa with us. Very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Hope I'm audible to you, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, Monisha, over to you to start the show. Yeah. Thank you.
Moni, I think we are having some kind of a network. This one, your voice is a little. We can't hear you clear.
Okay, by the time Monisha is getting back, Rudra, I need your help over here.
Hey, sure.
Yes, so tell me something about Deepa and then we'll ask her to start like, yeah.
Sure. So welcome, Dr. Deepa here. It's really a privilege for us to host you here on this wonderful day of Teachers' Day. First of all, wishing you a very happy Teachers' Day. Okay. Right. I know sometimes it's nice to be formal, right? So yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so Dr. Deepa has been she specializes in psychology, and she's got a lot of academic credentials with her, and also she's one of those person who's worked for the underprivileged, and then especially in a field where it is not that easy to work with. So that's her research work, and she holds a PhD in psychology. She also teaches in one of the colleges in the subject of psychology, and then probably that's what Moni also will be talking about. But then this is what she teaches, and she dons both the hats, one of the teacher and one of the research psychologist. That's what she does, and she does a lot of other activities as well. And one interesting thing about her that I know is also she she's of an NCC rank officer. That's what she does for a college, and she does. She takes her. She frequently visits camps on NCC. So she does that bit also. She wears multiple hats, and that's what she does at college also. Moni, are we back? Moni, we still can't hear you. I think maybe it's your headphone.
Okay, I think it happens sometimes. Yeah.
Sorry about it, Deepa. And I know you've joined us with okay, now I'm not sure if.
Hi, I'm here now, Rudra. I'm so sorry. Is it better now?
It is a lot better. I can hear you loud.
I don't know why my headset decided to play around just today. I'm really sorry for that.
It happens on it wants to make you feel weak, right? And that's what psychology is all about, right?
Yeah, and I think we have the right person here to help us resolve that as well. Hello, Deepa.
Yes, please. Go for it.
Hi, nice to meet you, Deepa. This is Monashri. I'm one of the data trainers over here in DCQ. Really happy to have you here on board with us. Before we go ahead with our discussions, for our audience who are listening in, I just wanted to give you a short brief adding on to what Rudra has already shared about her with us. Dr. Deepa here is an assistant professor of psychology and a chairperson of the Board of Examiners in Psychology, as Rudra told, in the Kuvempu University. She's an expert in bringing to light the stories of people who are often misunderstood or forgotten. She actually earned her PhD in psychology by writing a dissertation on the psychosocial issues among children of commercial sex workers. This shows her commitments to giving a voice to the marginalized and vulnerable population. And beyond her research, Dr. Deepa is a passionate teacher and mentor. She connects psychological concepts to real-life situations, helping her students think deeply with compassion. She also leads many important efforts to improve psychology education and helps communities by promoting mental health awareness. She also believes that psychology should not only study behavior, but also empower individuals to create positive social change. Welcome to our radio channel again, Dr. Deepa. It is really nice to have you here with us, especially on such a special occasion as Teachers' Day. And a happy Teachers' Day to you from my side as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So I understand Teachers' Day is an acknowledgement of the profound impact that our educators have on everyone over here. I just wanted to start off by asking you, in your view, what do you think is the single most important quality a great teacher or a mentor must possess?
Am I audible to you all now?
Yes, you're audible.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me with you. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be with you all today on Teachers' Day. We've been quite busy since morning though, but really excited to talk to all of you. Your first question is very, very deep. What's the important quality that a teacher can hold, or what is it that you think that the teacher should possess? If you give it a thought, I think it is the ability to inspire. You know, you should be in a position. Hold on. I don't know why I cannot see anything on my screen right now.
Okay. You are audible for us to hear.
So that's fine then. But okay. Yeah. So like I was telling you, it's very important to inspire young minds. When I say inspire, I'm not talking about influencing them. Influence is very different from being an inspirational person. And, when I say being able to inspire or your ability to inspire, I'm talking about stimulating that hope, that confidence, creativity, motivation in another person who is looking up to you. Now, if you look at human behavior, all of us have this, need to look up to a significant other. And that is what social learning also tells us about. We look up to a significant other and pick up qualities from them. So when we say inspire them, we are talking about igniting that spark in a young mind. Don't mind my background noise. My kids are around. So, yeah, excuse me on that. So, like I was telling you, we're talking about stimulating, or creating or igniting that spark in them, so that they can think, feel, act very, very meaningfully. You have to encourage them to pursue their goals, their dreams. When I say all this, am I talking about all this beyond the curriculum? Yes, to an extent. Because what we've seen as young teachers these days, we're only sticking to our 9-to-5 job and the 60-hour syllabus that is given to us. Go ahead, finish them and tell, yes, my job's well done. But when you get deeper into the profession, over a period of time, over decades of being a teacher, you get to see that when you encourage someone to pursue their goal, encourage someone to go ahead with their dreams, or when you help them see the possibility that is there in them, how efficacious they are, even before they can see, I think that is what a teacher should be doing these days. Like, for example, there is this psychiatrist called Viktor Franklin. Okay, was there, no more now though. Viktor Franklin was a Holocaust survivor. Right, when he was in the concentration camps, he derived these existential theories on what's life, the purpose of life, and the meaning of life, and all that. I have it written down. If I can read it for you, he says everything can be taken from a man, but one thing: the last of human freedom, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That freedom, that will, is human spirit. This is what he says. And now I think as a teacher, it is everybody's job, or it is my job, to tell my students or to make sure that they realize that this human spirit is there in them. It's okay. I mean, it's okay if they don't remember what I've taught them in psychology. It's okay if they don't know what any other teacher has taught them. It doesn't matter. They won't remember any of it. The only thing that the student is going to remember 10 years later is how you made them feel, how you recognize their potentials even before they can. I'll give you a personal anecdote. My teacher, when I was very young, one of my teacher had told me that, Deepa, you ask questions very clearly. So she said, you have clarity of thought and you think very differently. Now that made me realize, that made me feel good. It made me feel good. And to this day, I don't remember any other teacher, but other than this teacher, who actually made me feel that I matter. So, that ability to inspire, touching that human spirit, that's the essence of life. Tomorrow, these lessons may hold good or may not hold good. I don't even know if my students will continue studying psychology in the future or not. But someday, these lessons, these values of life is going to take them a long way. So, and how do we see all of this? I mean, you can see through it. You can see it when you look at the authenticity of the person, when they show kindness or when they are reaching for a deeper meaning, right? That's the quality that I'm looking at, not just me, or I've kind of tried and intentionally built it in me, but that's the kind of quality, like a prime QR, that every teacher should hold, that ability to inspire. Just building a little more on it. Somebody might say empathy is important. Somebody might say knowledge is important. Somebody might say something. But I'm telling you, all of these qualities, you will find it in every profession, almost all profession. It's important to have empathy. It's important to have knowledge, but only a person in the position of power, only a person in the position who can lead will be able to inspire. So a teacher should be able to, inspire. That ability, I think, is very, very important.
That was really insightful. And yeah, I also remember only the teachers who inspired me other than what the lessons they have taught. So I completely agree with you on that. My next question to you, especially because I was intrigued by the research I read about for your PhD dissertation. You have researched, your research basically gives voice to the people who are forgotten, who are unheard out. So has this made any changes to your work, the way you're teaching? Is there anything you can share with us, maybe to have a better, friendly, understanding environment that we can maybe create at work?
Absolutely. Why not? If you talk to me about research, I can go on for hours to hours. See, I'm basically a qualitative researcher, primarily a qualitative researcher, where I listen to stories that are unheard and I make meaning out of it, so that we derive something for the larger community out of those stories that are normally unheard. And of course, I work with empirical data as well, but this has been my prime interest over a period of time. Now, what has my research taught me? One important thing that it has taught me is the importance of respect and dignity. Every person, you, me, somebody sitting besides you, anybody, all of us carry an untold story. We all have an untold story. Sometimes we might want to share it with somebody. Sometimes we may not want to share it with somebody. Sometimes we might want to partially share it. Sometimes we may not want to at all. So each one of us have that one secret bit in us, which is probably pulling us down, which is probably not allowing us to unfurl, something which is not allowing us to, be at the best of our potential. So if you get into that awareness that everybody has an untold story, which is kind of bringing them back, Now, this awareness has actually helped me in class, to slow down, to listen, to create a space for all my kids so that they feel heard, they feel that we exist, right? So, I want my students to feel that way. I want them to know that, ma'am is there for you. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay if you're feeling left out in another class of 100, but in this class of 50, you're heard. What I normally do, in class, every day in the morning, after my regular greeting, how are you? How was your last evening? What did you do? I ask them. I, in fact, ask each and every one in the class. And this definitely takes me good 5 to 7 minutes to find out what each one has eaten that morning for breakfast. So we talk about that, and then we do the attendance and then get into the class. I mean, the whole logic of having a 60-hour period when we know that the brain can hold on is only for 25-30 minutes. I mean, the remaining 15 minutes in the prior to the class and after the class is nothing but garbage. So now, having said that, I do all this, don't I take my teaching seriously and I'm just there doing the counselor's job? No. I am a very strict teacher. But along with teaching, I make sure that, like I told you, my child or my student's human spirit is very, very alive. They feel heard. And this learning for me has come from my experience with research. If I'll have to give you examples, I remember it was very gruesome, very troubling, but I can share this with you. I don't know how many of you all will have the ability to kind of digest things that I tell you, but one incident that really kind of shook me was I worked with the children of commercial sex workers. So I've been to the red light areas, I've been to the brothels. I've seen their mothers in business. I've worked with the kids. I've been there. I've lived with them for a few weeks, sometimes for a little over a week, sometimes close to a month. I've lived with them and I've done my field work. So it wasn't easy. I remember this very, heart shaking kind of an incident. I was just passing through the lane of the brothel, and this was a place in Mumbai. A small brothel, not Kamatipura. This is another industrial area called Bhiwandi, and there's a small brothel called Hanuman Tekadi. That's the locality called. And I was walking through the lanes there. There are about 400-500 families who practice sex work. And usually they all have only about 8x8 or 10x10 room for each family there. And most of the time there are no doors. There's only a curtain. So as I'm passing through, I hear a small child scream. Okay, the child is screaming. Literally, it shook me. I was wondering what happened. By then, I had visited there, and I kind of knew families there. So it wasn't a new place for me when this incident happened. I was passing through those lanes, and I heard this child really cry, yell and howl and scream. And I didn't know where the noise was coming from. But I still, and it is also usually a thing that we do not open the curtains and peep in because we really don't know what's happening inside. If the mother's engaging a client or if there's something else happening, we wouldn't want to get into that space because although the people in the brothel might know me, it's not essential for her customers to also accept me the way they have. So, but I still gathered my courage and I knew it was coming from behind that curtain, and I did open the door. And I remember, in Hindu families where we have this pedestal where we keep the God photo, where we don't have a puja room, they put it on the wall with a beading, right, with a small slab, and then the photos usually hanging, slanting. So that was the kind of setup. And on that slab where usually there's one photo kept, there was a 2-year-old child sitting. Okay, a child, 2-year-old baby was sitting over it, and with the nails, those hooks, the U hooks on both sides, and the baby tied to a dupatta and literally leaning to the wall like this. And imagine it's a 2-year-old child a 2-year-old child can know how to run, to walk, to jump, to do all of this. And that baby was tied to the wall. And it isn't easy. It's not difficult for the baby to just come in the front and fall down, or even the hooks to come out. It's a 2-year-old child, should weigh about 10 kilos. And when I did that, I saw the baby there, and the mother was engaging a customer down there, and I didn't know what to do, but I still gathered my courage, pulled out the dupatta, unstrangled the baby, and took her out with me. It was a baby girl. I took her out with me, and I was playing with the child until the mother finished, and then came back to me to receive her daughter. And when I spoke to the lady, as in, why? You could have just left the child out to play with the other kids. And then she told me, no, my daughter was very clingy. She wasn't ready to leave me and go. But now if I don't work for today, I don't have ration at home. How am I going to feed my daughter? And that kind of, it really affected me, because we all look at these people as, I don't know what's the perception, because I've lost that kind of perception that a common man can hold about women in sex work, because it's long beyond that. I've empathized and I've, sort of considered equality and equity with them. But, what a normal person would think is, they can work, right? Why should they do all this? Are we ready to give them a job? Now, let's ask yourselves, okay, tomorrow if a lady from sex work industry is coming over to your house, allowing you to work, wouldn't you look at her suspiciously? Would you allow her into your house where your husband, your father, your brother, and everybody are there? It's a big question. Now, today we might say yes, 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 because we're all on a talk show and we might all nod our head, but go back and ask your family, go back and ask your mother, go back and ask your father. They wouldn't. We are still in the era where we have a separate plate and glass for our house helps. We don't share our plates and glasses with them. And we're talking about inclusion of these women into our society, and with this kind of a hypothetical reality that we hold in the head, we are talking about and we are kind of ostracizing them, and we are kind of blaming them that they can do something better than this. No, it doesn't happen. So when you listen to these stories from these women as to how they got there, why they got there, why they're still continuing what they are doing, it's heart touching. So once you get into this kind of experience, you will realize that in every class, every child has a story to share. And after all of these experiences that I've had over years, I've felt that, we call them the underdogs. These are people who are not really seen in class, at work. I kind of like them. I really, really like them. So, when you feel that belongingness, when you have a beat at workplace, you were talking to me about work and how can we use this at work. The parallel is very same and simple, It's similarly in workplace, when we ensure that, you want to say that? I'm sorry, my daughter. So, when, at workplace also, if we ensure that every employee is seen, heard, then I think we are creating an amazing environment for teamwork, for good collaboration, where creativity can thrive. We can do really good with that. So a friendly workplace, it's basically built on everyday respect, not really huge things. Okay. And all of this is not very idealistic when I am talking to you, because if you're listening to me for the first time, it might look like, oh, she's talking very ideally. May not be possible. We may not be able to implement this in our everyday life, but no, it is possible. When I'm saying all this, I'm not talking to you in terms of saying, do this for the whole day. I'm not telling you leave work and just do this. I'm not saying listen to your students by not teaching and the whole day sit and listen to their stories and counsel them and make them feel better. No, that's not the idea. The idea is all of this is seen in very, very small actions. And, and that actions are going to go a long way. It's not about, it's about being approachable. It's about being compassionate. It's not going to take you a long time. The transformation usually occurs when we listen to give you, let me give you an example. If at all you've done some work, you go back and you show it to your boss, and he tells you, no, this is wrong, go redo it. That's one part of it. You go back and redo it. It guides you through what needs to actually be done. It's hardly going to take him 5 to 10 minutes to explain to you what really needs to be done, put in the essence of it, and probably give you the right kind of questions and ask you, let's say, for example, is this what your client wants to see? Does this answer this? Does this project or does this report answer this kind of a question that the client is asking? Now that is going to give you a different insight. That's when you're going to look at your project beyond the data, beyond the numbers. So, what do we need at workplace? Nothing but a very approachable, friendly environment where you feel heard, where you feel you belong. So when we say everybody needs to be heard, again, I'm quoting what it is not also equally, because most of the time it kind of rings a wrong bell in everybody's head when we say you need to be heard, you need to be. Does that mean, do I tell the attender in your office to go and sit next to your vice president and have lunch? No, that's not what I'm telling. But make your attender feel that he also belongs to this company, that he's part of it. Okay, let him do his job. You do your job. Let the other person do their job. But then you should all feel that oneness. And when that oneness comes, it's nice. It's a beautiful feeling. The whole team feels nice, and that's what happens with me also in my department. No, it's very beautiful when we all kind of feel that friendly workplace vibes and work while you work, have fun while you have fun. So when you belong, there is an increase. I mean, it's directly proportional to your morale and your productivity. In fact, even in Maslow's hierarchy, I think most of you all must have studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs sometime in school or in college, where he talks about the feeling of belongingness and affection. See, these days, it's the third level of motivation, or the primary need that we need. The first one is, of course, our survival needs of food, water, air, and then we go on to the next level of having safety, security. I mean, these days life has been bettered so much that I don't think any of us here right now are struggling to get food. There are plenty of ways where we can still find food. There's so many government schemes. You just have to be smart to find your food. Most of us have shelters to stay. Now, where are we stuck? All of us are stuck at the third and the fourth level. Have this need to belong, right? And then if at all we feel belong, then we think of our self-esteem needs. So, that feeling of belongingness if you have in a company, that feeling of belongingness if you have in a classroom, everything works fine. And that's primarily what I've learned from my research, that respect and that dignity for every person.
That was really insightful. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Deepa. I have one question which I think everyone who is listening to the show will be able to relate to. In today's world, we have a lot of distractions, our phones, social media, too many things. Is there any way we can stay focused, especially when we're trying to learn, not get distracted that easily? Because this is one thing I have got a lot while I'm going into training sessions as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, distractions are a reality. I mean, we need to acknowledge that. But what you can do is you can train your mind like you train a muscle. Okay. Very, very metaphorically, because our brain is not a muscle mass. It's a mass made of nerve cells and proteins and glial cells, and a lot of physiology can go in there. But Like we train our muscles, it's also possible to train our brain. When we go to the gym, we don't lift 25 kgs at a stretch on day one. We start small. So when we decide that we will have to train our brain, then we will have to start small. Okay, it can be trained. Like, for example, you will have to focus on a smaller goal out of the larger goal. I'll tell you what happens, okay? When we try to kind of start doing something, for the first time, novelty is very exciting. When we're doing something new, our brain gets very excited, very happy, full josh. We go pay the full gym fees, buy our clothes, buy our shoes, everything. We start off doing very well, learn a instrument or learn a language or do something, whatever your skill or your hobbies. We start with full enthusiasm and halfway through we quit. I'm pretty sure most of us can relate, whoever is listening here, that all of us would have had a gym membership and not continued it till the end, and that has been a waste of money. I mean, I've done it. Most of us have done it. Right? Why does that happen? Because, our brain, novelty is very exciting. But then keeping it through without getting a reward for it becomes a factor for you to stop. So what we would always say is have short-term goals. Now, if your goal is, let's say you want to finish learning a language in 3 months, your brain is not going to wait for 3 months. I mean, that's serious willpower, I have to tell you, if you're going to stick on for 3 months without any kind of a reward. I mean, really difficult. But instead, you learn 10 words for the week and then you try and use it. These days, you really don't need friends. You have AI. Just go and blabber whatever you want and it is going to talk back whatever you want to hear. That's all it's going to tell you. It's not going to tell you anything that you don't want to hear. So it's very pro you. So you learn 10 words today and you start off kind of, you feel that happiness. And when you feel that happiness, you're feeling good, that means there's some dopamine that's releasing in your brain. It's a feel-good hormone. It is going to make you feel good. Now, this over a period of time, it is going to add on, and it is going to make it huge. So distractions will eventually come down if you set smaller goals. But otherwise, how else can you train your brain other than starting small and then building it up progressively? We have a lot of brain training techniques these days. I mean, proven by research and accepted by the scientific community. You must have heard of Pomodoro technique, where they say you do focused work for 25 minutes and then take 5 minutes break. Okay, after the 5 minutes break, you do another 25 minutes of focused work and then you take a 5 minutes break. Now, when you're doing this 25 minutes of work, you will have to set a goal for yourself. Within this 25 minutes, I'm going to finish this. So now what is your brain going to do? It is going to fully focus and you're going to be extremely productive in doing this work and also finishing it quickly so that you get, because you anyways have 5 minutes of break, and if you finish the work in 20 minutes, you're going to get another extra 5 minutes from this into that. Now there's a risk. I have to warn you, there is a risk, but wherever there is a lot of accuracy required in the kind of work you're doing, we will not be able to risk it with this kind of technique because in a hurry, it's a high possibility that we falter. So very gross work, which does not really require fine-tuning or any kind of refinement, you can use these kind of techniques. It works well. It works brilliantly. There is another kind of brain training technique by Csikszentmihalyi. on the flow. It's a positive psychology concept called, you must have heard the state of flow. I was in a flow, I did this, I finished writing a book. And now these people who get into the state of flow usually pick a very convenient time where there is least distractions, where they can work for long, uninterrupted hours, those long stretches. These are the people whom you see. I woke up at 4 o'clock and wrote a book. I woke up at 3 o'clock and finished my research. If that is the time that they can be productive, then so be it. Who's going to tell them that you'll have to sleep only in the night? If your melatonin is going to listen to you and secrete and make you sleep in the day, so be it. Doesn't matter. But if that's the time that they're going to be highly productive, wonderful. So whenever you can be in a state of flow, if you have been able to achieve that kind of a state of mind, then that is one way, okay, where you can be free of distractions. Now, like I told you how there is a Pomodoro technique, there is something called a 50-17 rule also, where 52 minutes you work and 17 minutes you take a break. Now, this is where you can, where in case you need longer stretches of focused hours, that's when we use this 50-17 rule. And 17 minutes of break so that it's long enough to be productive, the working hours, and the break is also sufficient enough so that you completely recover. Sometimes 5 minutes is not enough for you to just get up from your chair and just have a walk. It's already 5 minutes, you'll have to come back and sit down. So this 50-17 kind of works. Again, each of it has its own limitations. Now, if you have back-to-back meetings, you cannot waste 17 minutes. 17 minutes is almost close to 20 minutes and you can't keep somebody else waiting for you. But otherwise, this also works pretty well in, gives you good productivity in terms. And otherwise, there's another very interesting technique called an ultradian rhythm technique, which is for 90 minutes. Okay, now why is this 90 minutes? Our brain works in this 90-minute cycle of alertness and fatigue. Okay. This 90 minutes of when we begin doing something, like now if you've started at 5 o'clock, maybe till 6:15, 6:30, my brain is going to be this. After that, you might ask me a different question, I might give you a different answer. Not that I don't want to concentrate, but my brain is definitely having a change in the brain waves. Now, the first 90 minutes, what happens is beta waves, okay? That's the wave when we are nice and alert. We are very alert, and there are a lot of beta waves. Usually when we talk about beta waves, we have high beta and low beta. High beta is when we're doing something very alert. Like now I'm on high beta and you guys listening to me probably are on low beta because you don't have an examination on this. So it's okay for you to sit back and chill and listen. So you might be on low beta, but I'm on high beta. After 90 minutes, what is going to happen? We're all going to fall into alpha or theta waves. Now, what does alpha waves do? It is going to help you relax. What does theta waves do? It is going to put you into this daydreaming situation. Now, this is not what I am doing intentionally, but that is how our biology is made. So you can work on this, considering this physiological response that our body by itself naturalistically has. This 90 minutes ultradian rhythm work timing is also good so that you can stay free of distractions. Now, why am I telling you all this? These are all ways that you can keep distractions away. Like work focused for 90 minutes and then take a break so that your rhythm is reset and then you go back again working for 90 minutes. Now, imagine you're doing 90 minutes before lunch and 90 minutes after lunch. That's good amount of work for you to be productive. That's about 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours post lunch. If you're quite good, 6 hours of undistracted work is much, much beneficial than doing 10 hours of work, not concentrating, scrolling the phone, putting it aside, not knowing what to do. Now, how do we build on all this? Let me tell you, anything that you will have to change in yourself, any skill you want to build, or like I was telling you, how you have to make your people feel heard, people feel belonged, create a happy space, or even train your mind, or anything for that matter, you're looking at a change, then it has to be intentional. Nothing is going to come to us like magic. It has to come intentionally. You have to put in efforts. There is a lot of work that goes into before you achieve something, right? And once you achieve it, there is no looking back. That's going to give you another kind of high that no other drug can give you. But until you get there, it is hard. It is a big circus. And, like this, we have a lot of techniques. So choose the one that fits you best, choose the one that fits your organization the best, and choose the one that fits your audience the best when you're in training. And then you can tell them that all of this is there and do what suits you.
That was really nice. I have heard of Pomodoro technique, but the other techniques, especially the ultradian rhythm, was new for us. I hope our audience are also able to take some information from that. I have a question from one of our audience, Veena. She wants to know, how can we manage change better? We are all in a comfort zone, especially in workplace. So how can we push to do something different and adapt to change very easily?
Change, isn't change the only constant that we all have in life? Again, it's all about awareness. Sometimes it's about the purpose of the change that can keep you driven, or the purpose is going to give you the motivation to hold on to that change than the change itself. Now, let me elaborate. If you're talking about a change, let's say from tomorrow, if your boss is going to ask you that instead of 9 o'clock, you will all have to report at 8:15. I'm not giving anyone ideas, but if something like that happens, okay, I'm really curious to know, how are you going to react? How would anyone know this?
Question would give it all. I don't have to even speak. So I think for everyone, the expression gives it out a lot.
Right. You're only going to say, why? Why this? Are we not working enough? So when there is a change, especially in organized, see, now in real life, there's nothing much we can do because changes are only constant. And when you cannot fight the change, the best thing is to accept it. Life that holds good. But before bringing out any kind of a change in an organization, it is essential for the change bringers to think if it is essential. Okay, but talking about it generally as in life circumstances, like I told you, most of the time we would not be able to do much about change, but other than build that mindset, build that resilience in us so that we are able to flow through it. And how does this all come into us? Now it's easy for us to say, build the mindset, go do this, go rock girl, you can do it. Good to hear, but it has to come with a lot of practice. It has to be a cognitive restructuring that is going to happen. Now, when I say cognitive restructuring, let's say if my brain is used to waking up at 6 o'clock, my neuron A, which is firing at 6 o'clock, saying, wake up, passing on, and then my bladder fills at 6 o'clock, I want to use the restroom. If you've noticed, we all have that kind of a circadian rhythm every day at the same time. We want to do certain things. Now, if I have to get into a change, now that is a lot of practice, right? Day 1 is uncomfortable. Day 2 is uncomfortable. Day 3 is even more uncomfortable. Over a period of time, you will get used to it and the change will become the new normal, like how it happened to us during the pandemic. So, like I told you, if you can resist change, you will not be able to sustain it for a long time. So don't resist change. Take your time, but accept it. Because most of the time, change is what will become your new normal. I'll give you an example, okay? Let's take examples of small kids, okay? Just newborn infants. The mother is nursing the child, right? And now the mother has to stop nursing the child at one point. That's a huge change for the baby. Right? How is the baby going to accept it? Didn't we all accept it? Didn't we all move on? We are not going to, no, none of us are going and suckling to our mothers now. Right? We have accepted it. We have moved on. Right? I'll give you another example. How many of y'all, I don't know, I mean, you don't have to answer me, but just think for yourself. How many of y'all are very happy with your mother-in-laws? Don't answer me. Don't answer me. Okay? I don't want an answer. But what do we do about it? Accept it? Right? How many of us really like our job? I mean, I do. You might. But generally, how many of us like our job? I don't know. But we're doing it because we have an EMI to pay. So like how we've accepted all of this, we will have to accept change also. Like just exactly the way we've accepted change after COVID. Right. How many of us wore masks? We never even knew that there was something called an N95 mask before Corona, before the pandemic. How many of us had bottles of sanitizers before the pandemic? None of us. Right. So we've accepted change and it's going to come. But sometimes, let me warn you, but sometimes this change might not be pleasant. Change is never pleasant to most of us. But law of nature, no choice. That's about it.
I agree with that. I have another question from one of our followers. How would you handle a child who is not interested in studying? Like, how can we motivate them, bring them the interest or concentration?
Very interesting. You know what? When you have to motivate somebody, it is always essential to give them a winning experience. Okay. You give them a winning experience, they are motivated to do something better. Like, I remember when I was very young, my mother would tell me, okay, there are two kinds of kids. Okay, it usually, my mother would narrate this to me in Kannada. Okay, I don't know if your audience follow Kannada or...
You can speak because we have a center in Kannada and there's enough Kannada audience here. We'll translate it for you as well.
No problem. I'll translate. That's okay. So, my mother would narrate this to me in Kannada and she said there are two kinds of learners. Okay, and this she would tell us looking at me and my brother. Okay, I have a sibling. So there are two kinds of learners. One is like Anjaneya, Hanuman. Okay, the other is like Bhima. So, Anjaneya is from Ramayana and Bhima is from Mahabharata. Okay. So, my mother would say, Anjaneya hege andre, Madu, nin kayal agate puta andre, he will go and reach the sun. As in, that much of encouragement you give them, they will go reach the sun. All they need is that push from the back. You know how Bhima is? Nin kayalagala, neenu madala, what are you fit for nothing andre? This fuels them to do something and prove themselves. Okay. So these are the people who say you are fit for nothing. When you pull them down, this kind of fuels them and they want to achieve something good in life. So there's two kinds of learners. Now identify what kind of a learner you are or what kind of learner your audience are. Most of the time, majority of us human beings, we are driven by rewards. We are driven by encouragement. Rewards, when I say, I'm not talking about something materialistic. I'm talking about even something that can give them an intrinsic motivation. Like an encouragement, like a pat on the back. Like tell them, oh my God, you're so good. Now, if you give them this kind of a winning experience, it's going to push them a little more forward. So when they come a little more forward and they say, oh my God, you've done so beautifully. Why don't you do it a little more? And then they go a little more forward. So this way, I think that winning experience is a major reinforcer. My daughter is learning hula hoop these days. Okay, I've enrolled her in classes. And she's learned this new technique of neck hooping. Okay, putting the hula hoop around her neck and trying to spin it around her neck. And trust me, she's bad at it. She doesn't know. She's still learning. Okay. And the trick is very simple. You just have to spin the hoop and then go. Her teacher was telling her do some forward, backward movement. Now when she spins it, with the force that she has spinned, the hoop goes 2 rounds and it falls down. Okay, because she's still picking it up. And I say, oh my God, you did 2 rounds. She gets so excited and then she does this and she says, ma 3 rounds. Again, ma 4 rounds. Again, another round, ma 5 rounds. Truthfully, I know where she is right now at her stage. But that, giving her that kind of that small, that one small dopamine rush that I can create in her, it pushes her so that she's not feeling tired. So she's really looking forward for her next class. That way, every learner needs that one small push. When they're not interested, give them a winning experience. Now, I am giving you all of this without considering any background of the student or the child, just considering boredom or not being interested as a reason. But otherwise, psychologically speaking, if a child is not able to pick up on something or is finding it difficult, then there are several other things that you will have to look at about, is the child finding it difficult because of some neurological brain wiring, or is it because there's a low IQ issue, or is it because of some issue in the school, or is it an emotional problem? I mean, there are multiple other factors to look at when you look at from a psychological perspective. But otherwise, if it is just a lack of interest, then just give them the dopamine rush and they'll run like a horse.
All right. I think I was someone who used to be the Bhima instead of Anjali. If someone tells me you can't do this, I'll definitely go do that first. But that was really insightful. I think it'll be easier for us to find which category our child goes into and work on that. I have another question from our listener. So how can we create a happy space at work without disturbing the work discipline and work rhythm that we currently have?
Okay. Very interesting, because each organization has its own values, and there's no one size fits all kind of a mantra here. But before we even look for happy space in the company or in the center that you're working, are you a happy person by yourself is also a question that you will have to ask. Okay. First thing. Second thing, you cannot shoulder your happiness, the responsibility of your happiness, onto someone else or to some other center. Right? It's important for you to stay happy intrinsically whenever possible. Now, having said that, I'm not going to tell you get yelled by a boss and come back and say, oh yeah, I got yelled by a boss. No. I mean, that's a very deviant, abnormal behavior, another +1 client for us. You will have to come see us for counseling. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm trying to say that most of the time it is essential for us to keep our sanity in place. Along with this, how do we create it at work? I think it definitely goes by the vision of your organization. How are you? I mean, what is the goal of that team or of that? Let's say, that sector of your organization. So what are you looking at? Is it only productivity and, all play, no rest kind of a situation? Or is it that you're looking to build something more creative where you need to have a happy space and all that? But how do you build it? I think the organization, the management will really have to consider, like I told you, respect, dignity, belongingness, understanding, compassion. It's okay. Some of us can be late 5 or 10 minutes, and sometimes, I'm not saying habitually, but sometimes it's okay for us. But I remember this. I have to narrate this, in a previous college, very, very reputed college. I wouldn't name it, but a very reputed college I was working. The timing was 8:30. Okay, for us to sign in. Classes would begin at 9 and we were expected to reach campus by 8:30. I mean, this is a college that I was working in Bangalore. And if you go 8:31, 8:32, okay, and you go thrice, you go late even by a minute, okay, let's say 8:31, 8:31, 8:31, 3 days, then I lose 1 CL. Considering Bangalore's traffic and considering having kids at home and send the child to school, send your husband to office, pack lunchbox, XYZ, chores, all of that, and then go back to work, and you have to be there at 8:30. That means no matter if it's raining, no matter you're feeling cold, no matter you've had a late night party, that just means you will have to wake up at 5 every day. You cannot extend and sleep. Very difficult organization to work with. I quit. Really, I resigned. So that kind of a happy place, I think the organization should make. How, like I told you, make them feel belong, give them a little bit of compassion. It's okay if you're late once in a while for 5 or 10 minutes, as long as you're able to finish your day's chores. It's okay. And there's another the kind of a phenomena that I've seen, okay, that you have to write A to Z from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay, there's one straight path set, and I think your boss, your team leader, your manager has told you that this is how you will have to do, and this is how they would expect you to do. But what's also important is you reach from A to Z, no matter you go in a sequence or you write K first, L first, M first, or B first. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you fill the gaps. So that kind of a freedom that you need to have at work, you know, as long as you're being able to produce the desired outcome, be productive at work, it's okay the path you take to reach there. So if your organization is going to give you all of this, and if it isn't, I think your organization should give you all of this. But if it is giving you all of this, then I don't see a reason to make it a better place, because it's already a good place. So dignity, respect, feel belonged, give you the liberty, give you the freedom to do what you want to do, works fine.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Deepa. One last question that we had over here on the chat. We have someone asking for a few psychological techniques for staying motivated over the long term.
Looks like I'll have to talk to you a lot about motivation. See, when we say motivation, okay, let me get into the very basics of it. There are certain things that are going to drive us to continue doing things that we are doing. Now, why are we talking about what do we mean by motivation? We're talking about that drive that's going to keep us going, that's going to allow us to keep doing what we are doing. Give me a moment, please. Just give me one moment, please. I'm sorry. Yeah, so basically motivation is something that's going to drive us and helps us continue doing what we are doing. Now, there are a few things like, let's say, there are a few personal drives, like a few personal motives that can keep us going. Like, for example, my interest itself can be a motivation for me, or my desire to learn something new, my curiosity. So this motivation can come from within. It can come from me. Sometimes motivation will have to come from the outside also. Like, for example, the motivation can be money. I have my bills to pay and I have to go to work. So I get a new car, so I have to work. So something is motivating you. Your EMIs might be motivating you, or your desire for a new car might be motivating you, or your desire to give your daughter a better future is motivating you, whatever. So sometimes the motivation comes from outside. Sometimes the motivation, other than monetary rewards, your motivation can also be the power that you get with your job, with your thing. Like, for example, when I go to college, I hold a very powerful position at work. So, you know, even if I'm not doing very well that day, I have a headache, I have a cold or whatever, I cannot go with a very low face to work. Okay? Because what is motivating me could also be that power, that position of power that I'm holding. That means I will always have to have this stern face and look, with that kind of an aura. So that could be a motivating factor. So what is sometimes another motivating factor psychologically we also speak is maternal instincts, paternal instincts, your instincts that you have for another person or for your thing, for your job, that possessiveness that you're going to hold towards a situation. So that can also keep you motivated. So what is our primary task? Our primary task is to first identify if I'm an intrinsically motivated person or do I need motivation from outside? Okay. So now we will have to look at these two things. Now, if you're an intrinsically motivated person, you will have to figure out what part of you is motivating you. If you're an extrinsically motivated person, then what part of you is motivating you? Like I had a colleague, okay, not a colleague, my PhD batchmate. We did PhD together. He's doing very well. He's a psychotherapist, doing very well for himself. But this person, Mr. XYZ, was very, very motivated by the monetary rewards he would get for his job. Now, if you're a psychologist who holds an RCI license, then, oh my God, you don't even have to ask. People are on queue to hire you. Okay. We have a lot of job opportunities and they pay us hefty, handsome salaries if you are ready to work in the corporate. So, yes. So he was very, very monetarily motivated. Once what happened is his alma mater, the institution where he studied, requested him to come and because I told you he's a very knowledgeable person, his alma mater once asked him to come and deliver a session to the students there, to his juniors. And he said, okay, and he went and they gave him a very nominal amount as his honorarium, I think some 2,000-3,000 rupees or something like that. That's all was offered to him. Because the alma mater his college thought that he's anyways a student. No, he's our alumni. He can do so much for the department, but anyways to honor his efforts, we are giving him a minimal amount. But he got very offended. He said, oh, you're kind of, there's no regard for the kind of skills that I've accomplished and you don't want to give me the money and XYZ things happen. There was a tiff there. So like this, some people are motivated by certain things. So you will have to identify what you are motivated by. And now that only you will know. Nobody else will know. Even if you come to me, if I'm going to sit you down, I'm going to ask you so many questions that you yourself will have to decide what is your final motivating factor, because that's the max I can do. I can probe into you and dig deep into you and make you realize that this is your motivating factor and you work accordingly.
Okay, that is really nice. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Deepa. I don't think we have any other questions. And thank you again for sharing your incredible wisdom. It was really insightful for us, especially your knowledge about learning, the motivation, also about us listening and showing oneness, empathy towards others. That was really nice. Thank you so much for sharing all those insights with us.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Deepa. I liked the story, especially the Bhima and the Hanuman story. I loved it. Thanks for sharing a wonderful real story. I think people will start thinking about it. I got many comments from the listeners. They were saying like it's a very useful segment. Definitely we should have once again Deepa on live. So definitely we need you one more time again. Rudra, a big thanks to you, Rudra, for bringing her on the live. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Anything you want to add, Rudra?
Sorry?
Anything you want to add or comment?
No. Thank you so much, and wish Deepa a very happy Teachers' Day, and thanks for being here, and for sharing your insights and thoughts as well. We would really love to have another chat with you. And Deepa, probably we just didn't brief you at the beginning of the show. We had 4 centers, which had tuned into this. It wasn't the 15 people that were listening to you here. It was broadcast in 4 other centers that we have at Desi Crew, and then they were listening from places like TN Palayam near E Road. We have a center in Kollumangudi, that is near Mailaduthurai, near Tanjavur, not Tanjavur, Mailaduthurai, yeah, somewhere there. and then one in Vilupuram, Chennai, and then in Kapu near Mangalore, so near Udupi. And incidentally,
All the
people.
places where you usually visit.
So yeah, I usually visit, right? So all of these places, and so it was another few hundred people that had tuned in for the show as well, and it was broadcast there, and that's where all of them are listening to it. Thank you so much for this and sharing your experience as well. Okay,
Thank you so much for having me here. It's really pleasant and really nice talking to all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Srilekha, for getting this done. I think Veena is here. Veena, do you want to just say a word? Veena is our HR head, and Deepa and Veena may have a connect because Veena is based out of Udupi, and Deepa incidentally studied in Mangalore University.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right. So,
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Deepa, for this wonderful session. I'm sure we will forget most of the things because it was a 1 hour packed session. So we've recorded this session as well to listen to you again and again. And we would really want to have one more session with you, maybe at a topic that interests you, but it would also be beneficial to all of us. But I think given the 1 hour slot, I think you've made complete justice to it. And we are really thankful for taking time off from your busy schedule today. And wish you a very happy Teachers' Day. And I'm sure your students will be really thrilled to have you as a teacher. And I wish I had a teacher like you sometime. But yeah, thanks a lot. I think it is a wonderful session. And thanks, Rudra, for ensuring that she came today and made this day special for all of us.
thank you, Veena. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Veena.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Deepa. Happy day.